The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gam Podcast Network is brought to you by NYRA Bets. Bet the Kentucky Derby by using the code SGPN25 for $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus at nyrabets.com/SGPN25 and start winning today. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gam Podcast Network. It is currently Wednesday night around 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time on April 30th, here to break down the games for Thursday. I'm host episode Scott Reichel, joined again by Dylan Rockford. Together to break down once again the upcoming Thursday games. 11 games on the card. Pretty weird number, but we'll take it. So can't complain too much. Dylan, how's it going with you? How have you enjoyed the baseball so far?
Oh, I loved it. Had actually a really good day. We get there. Hopefully, it's the top of the ninth, but Seattle run line. We get there. Padres get the win. They're starting to win some games now. And then who else did I take? Tigers plus 120. It was a nice underdog cash as well. So 3-0 to start the day. How about yourself?
Overall, pretty up and down. Did lose the prop I had with Raleigh Raw, but I ended up winning the underdog entry with Adam this morning. Bit reduced because Murphy didn't play, but we had Ohtani stolen base with King lower on his outs, and he actually kind of blew up in the sixth inning there as he finished half an out short. So nice win for us there. We'll see what the adjusted payout is once it gets graded, but either way, nice win for the underdog entry there. Besides that, I want to give a quick shout out to the Rockies. By winning today, they avoided the worst 30-game start since 1901. So congratulations by winning today 2-1. Chris Sale just can't buy a win. But either way, point is the Rockies did not get swept. They avoided the, once again, worst start since 1901 in the 30-game sample. So congratulations, I guess. Anyway, do you want to move on to the games? Do you want to recap anything from today?
No, that's it. I honestly didn't even realize they won today. I was main focused on the games that I bet. But how did the Reds look? I know they've been red hot. They lost, right?
They got shut down by Mikolas, so probably not too good today. Mikolas was shoving today, actually, but he only went 5 1/3. They lost 5-0. I think Singer actually went okay. It seemed like most of the damage happened towards the end, but yeah, Mikolas was just shoving. That's kind of how that went today. So yeah, the Reds were in good form, not so much today, and that's how that went. But
yeah,
trying to think if there's any other things we're talking about. Seattle keeps looking good. I know Judge homered in the first inning.
Yeah.
Cardinals are up 3-0 again. Forgot they're playing a doubleheader today, so the Reds are not off to a good start today.
Dodgers 12 runs.
Yeah, they're also against Miami. So Quantrill is not a pitcher you want to have faith in against that lineup, and he was awful. You're looking at the Marlins pitching staff against the Dodgers this weekend. You had, I know Alcantara pitched the middle day. You had Cabrera the first day, Alcantara the second day, and then you had Quantrill the third day, which might be 3 of the worst pitchers in the league at holding runners. And they were all back-to-back-to-back, and we saw them steal a bunch of bases. So not exactly a good series for Miami. I thought they would get swept, and they did. So not exactly a shock there.
Real quick, I was talking to Malcolm. He was just on my pod about the NL West. We got like 3 teams separating by like a game and a half. And I know Mal and I were high on the Diamondbacks. It's been about a first month. Do you see them kind of turning things around here?
I think that Corbin Carroll is a serious MVP candidate. And Adam and I have that at 45-1.
So that's only what you're worried about right now.
That's fine. I mean, Suarez had a great start to the season, then did nothing for about a month, then had 4 home runs in a game. So a lot of his stats are kind of skewed based on the first week or two against the Yankees, first series or so. And then he had the, of course, explosion for the 4 home runs. The pitching, I think, has been underwhelming. Mainly Gallen.
Yeah.
Gallen has been underwhelming. Erod's been better lately, but still not great since they signed him. That's kind of the main Achilles heel for this team. If you're a fan of Fod and you throw out some of the other rotation guys, maybe they'll get by. But it does feel like they are an arm short on that rotation. And that would be where I think they need to address or what they need to improve on to be serious potential contenders in the NL West, or even just to make a wild card run to maybe the pennant. I think the rotation needs a bit more improvement. Any thoughts on that?
I think they need to make definitely moves, especially in that bullpen. They have a bottom 10 bullpen right now. They don't look good. And you mentioned Erod. He got blown up by, Mets. Yeah, the Mets are hot right now, but Mets aren't really a power hitting team. They're not known for their offense. So, yeah, Zach Allen hasn't looked good. Erod hasn't looked good. Actually, Brandon Pfaadt, I think he's actually looked better than most of their starters. So, yeah, I think they'll turn it around. I actually like what I think Buster Posey has done with this Giant team. I wasn't high on them in the preseason, but going into the season now, I think they're pretty good, and I think they're legit. I think we have enough sample size for about a month so far. I mean, you can't obviously win the World Series in a month, but you could definitely lose the World Series in a month. So I don't know. I like San Francisco. I think they're a tad better than the Snakes right now.
Yeah, the Rockies lost the World Series in a month.
Yeah.
So that's one team that did end up losing it. Shout out to the White Sox as well. The Giants, I find a fascinating team because Adames hasn't really, I think, done that much since joining the team.
Yeah.
He hasn't been awful, but I think he's been okay. Lee's been very good. I feel like he was definitely a guy that people were keeping an eye on. Chapman's been kind of fine as well, but it feels like with that rotation, with Webb and with the ballpark they play in, they're going to be in most games because you tend to expect more low-scoring games. Bullpen's been kind of up and down. I think it's been fine for the most part, but you're looking at a team that you still question offensively if they're going to have a certain slump at some point, and when that happens, will they fall off a cliff?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the question that we seem to always have with the Giants. It's why they seem to be a bit of a streaky team, because they can win low-scoring games, but the bats have been surprisingly okay to start the season. Will that continue? I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
the
main
million-dollar
question.
question.
But I think the Giants are fine. They're better than I thought they'd be.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're hovering around 500 and they finish with like 85 wins fighting for a wild card spot, that's kind of my prediction for this team.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I think they would kind of be happy with that first year under Buster Posey. So yeah, I just wanted to pose that question real quick with that. It's probably the best division in baseball.
Oh, right now it is, if you toss out the final team. So yes, they have 4 teams that are really good.
It's
but
just the 4. We don't have to talk about the last.
The point is I have to, because if you're talking about the entire division, I have to at least factor in the Rockies being an all-time bad team.
Yeah,
so
historic.
Yeah, historically bad. Either way, though, before we get into any of the games here for the May, we're actually in the start of May for that card. A reminder, though, that you can also show support for the show by leaving a 5-star rating and a review on Spotify or Apple to SGPN's free content. And also don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, whether it involves the MLB Gambling Podcast, NBA Gambling Podcast, for example, College Experience, a lot of podcasts on the network, all on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to those channels individually to help these shows grow. Anyway, moving on to the actual card here for the first day of May. On Thursday, you have the Cubs taking on the Pirates. Now, for this game, you have what should be a pretty fun matchup because you have you have Skeens pitching against Rhea. For this one, the Pirates are minus 160. Cubs are plus 135. Cubs have been really good, 18-12. Pirates, we know, are really bad at 11-19. But Skeens has a 2.39 ERA with a 3-2 record. Classic Pirates run support. But I'll ask you for this game, because Rhea's been quietly good so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he's been really good. 1-0, 0.96 ERA. It's the same question every time Skeens pitches, because you want to back them, but this team stinks. So the question is, do you want to lay 160 with Pittsburgh? I do not.
No.
I'll go Cubs instead.
Yeah, I can understand going with the Cubs here. I think it's too big of a price on the Cubs. I kind of like the first 5 under in this one. Like you mentioned, Colin Ray has been amazing for the Cubs. 0.96 ERA, just 2 runs given up in the month of April. He's allowed 0 home runs in the month, just 3 walks. And it was against teams like the Phillies, the Dodgers, Arizona, who we just talked about, Rangers. Much better lineups than the Pirates. Pirates only hit 225 off of righties this year. They've lost 3 in a row. They're only averaging 3.4 runs per game at home this year. And then on the other side, you mentioned it, Paul Skeens, he had a really nice bounce back start versus the Dodgers after, where a few starts he kind of got touched up, especially a game against like the Guardians. So Cubs, they've been great offensively, but in this spot, I do think Paul Skeens will be able to limit the bats the first few times around the lineup. So I think we'll see a low-scoring game, especially early on. So first 5 under is going to be the play for me.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I feel like if you wanted to pivot away from Skeens, I don't mind the Pirates team total under, maybe in the first 5. Yeah. They're getting a bit of a juice number now because Skeens is pitching, but they're also the home team, so they might not bat in the 9th inning. But you're looking at what I think should be a total of probably 3.5, maybe a juiced 4.5 under. But
yeah,
I do think you're looking at a spot where this number feels a bit high, wherever it's going to be located. I'll go with the under for the Pirates team total. I'll dare them to actually hit the ball for once. Moving on to the next game, you have the Cardinals against the Reds. Now, they are in a doubleheader right now. Cardinals are leading the second game of the doubleheader. I think they're outscoring the Reds. It's either 8-0 or 9-0 today, if you factor in both games. It's 3-0 now. They won the first game. Sorry, trying to find it. They're up 9-0 today, so we'll see if the Reds turn around. Either way, though, you have Liberatore pitching against Abbott. Now the Reds are minus 130, Cardinals are plus 110, and the over-under for this game is at around 8.5. Now, I think for this matchup, I might actually like the under in this game. 8.5 feels a bit high to me. The Reds' offense was in pretty good form. It's cooled off today, clearly, as they've still not scored yet. Liberatore's been fine. I think Abbott's been fine, too. I don't exactly think that either offense is going, in my opinion, well enough to just completely blow up this total to score like 6 or 7 runs. I see a lower scoring game. I think it'll be somewhere in the 4-3 range, but I do think for the value, 8.5 feels a bit high to me. I'll go with the under.
Yeah, it's going to be under 8.5 or the Cardinals team total under for me. Maybe we see some positive or negative regression coming from the Cardinals offense, but I think the Reds are the right side. It's Andrew Abbott, and he's been great. Batters only hitting $118 off of him this year. And I know they're probably going to sweep the Reds here in this doubleheader today, but not only in general, the Cardinals are bad. And what are they for? Now they're like 4-13 straight up on the road. And
yeah.
I can't expect the Cardinals to be scoring a bunch of runs, especially after blowing up today with all these runs. So Reds don't hit lefties well either. I don't think we see a lot of runs from the Reds. And I think this could be a nice bounce back spot for Liberatore as well. He didn't really have a good outing in his last start. We'll also have winds blowing in. Great American Ballpark. I know in general it's a hitter's ballpark, but we're going to have winds blowing in. So I agree. I think either under 8.5 or maybe the Cardinals team total under for me.
Yeah, I'll move to the next game. We're going to look at a matchup between the Diamondbacks and the Mets. Now, for this game, we know the Mets have been unbeatable at home, so no matter who's pitching. You might be right. We're going to talk about it anyway. So get into the actual matchup here. You have Gallen, who we mentioned before, being quite underwhelming this season. Is an understatement. He's been terrible. 5.57 ERA against Senga, who's been really good. 3-1, 1.26 ERA. Mets are minus 160. Diamondbacks are plus 135, and the over-under in this game is set at about 8 or 7.5. Senga's been very good. Mets have been great at home. We know Gallen's been bad, and Arizona's been okay at home. On the road, but I think I'll go with Mets minus 1.5. Like, Senga's been great, and Citi Field's been rocking so far this season. Mets on the run lines plus 145. It's a great price for a team that's currently 13-1 at home. Give me the Mets minus 1.5.
Yeah, I like the minus 1.5 as well. I took the Mets on the money line minus 144. It's a little chalky, I know, but I do think they keep it rolling here. My numbers made them a minus 155 favorite. Until they slip up, Scotty, we got to continue to back them at home. I just think we got to continue, especially with how good Kodai Senga has been. He's one of the best pitchers, not just in the National League, but in the league in general. He has yet to give up a run at home. Small sample size, only 2 starts, but only one home run given up in his first start. I think it was actually his first pitch of the day. He gave up the home run. But outside of that, he's been fantastic. Strikeouts are low, but he gets a ton of ground balls. The Mets have the clear pitching advantage with Senga and in the bullpen as well. You mentioned with the Snakes, they have a bottom 10 bullpen as well. Zach Allen, you mentioned in the beginning, he struggled in his last 4 starts, and Mets are just on fire right now. They're hitting 258. The vibes are high right now. I just think we got to continue to back them here.
Yep, I agree. 13-1 speaks for itself. I'll go back to the Mets here for this one. Moving on to the next game, you have the Royals taking on the Rays. Damn, that sounds boring. You got Lugo against Baz. Now, for this one, you have the Rays at minus 150. You have the Royals at plus 125. And the over-under in this one is set at 8 or 8.5. 8.5 is crazy. FanDuel's get 8.5 at minus 120. Baz has been very good. I know he was not very good against the Yankees, but besides that, 3-0, 2.45 ERA. Lugo's been fine. 2-3, 3.08 ERA. Said before, both offenses, no bueno. I know that it's in Tampa, which has been kind of a high-scoring, I'd say, stadium so far this season, but 8.5 with these offenses, I'll take my chances. Give me the under.
Yeah, I like the under too. My total came out to 8.1, but I like the Rays here. Minus 134. My numbers made him a minus 140 favorite. Outside of that one start against your Yankees, I think Shane Baz has looked great for the Rays. They've won 4 of his 5 starts, and surprisingly, the one loss was to the Angels, but he gives the club good length. Strikeouts have been very high. I think this is a good spot against a Royals team who worst in the league in runs per game at home, just 271, or on the road, on the road, worst in the league. So they just can't buy runs right now. And another team he's backed up by a top 5 bullpen. Tampa Bay, really good bullpen this year as well. And Seth Lugo has regressed. I mean, he was a bet on pitcher last year, not so much this year.
First half, he was like a fringe Cy Young guy.
Yeah.
First half of last year.
This year, he's just not backable. 3+ runs given up in both starts on the road, and Royals lost both of those starts by multiple runs. So I think the Rays should win this game. Low-scoring game, maybe like 4-1, 5-1 type of game. But I agree on the under, but I do think Rays are the right side here as well.
I understand the ballpark environment again, but 8.5 with these offenses, I can't take an over. Like that's with these pitchers. Like no, that's a bit much. So I'll go with the under in that one. Before we get into the other games for the Thursday card, reminder they're brought to you by EDGEWIZ, with the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring that all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no balance. You can also cash back rewards. And also a reminder, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today. EDGEWIZ.bet, promo code SGPN. The deposit $25, and EDGEWIZ will match the deposit. That's EDGEWIZ.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by NYRA Bets because it's Derby Week at SGPN. Dylan, you a big horse guy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I need an early access pick for Kentucky.
Yeah, so we just had Mal on the show. He gave us 4 picks, and I'll just tell him: Final Gambit 20-1, Cole Battle 25-1, and Sovereignty short favorite at 6-1.
Okay, and just to be clear here, he wanted those in a superfecta, or those are just his picks to win the thing?
Picks to win the thing.
Isn't like journalism the favorite or something? Early journalism?
Yeah, journalism is the favorite at plus 280.
What a horrible name for a horse. I feel bad for the horse. That's terrible. I mean, that was my major in college, but damn, that's a horrible name for a horse. Anyway, a point is, though, if you do want to get on the action, also a reminder, check out the horse racing podcast that we have on SGPN, the notorious OTB for all of your picks. Get in on the action for the most exciting 2 minutes in sports with NYRA Bets. Sign up today and boost your Derby bankroll with a $25 free bet and a $200 deposit bonus with a promo code SGPN25. Join now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus at NYRABets.com/SGPN25. We're also brought to you by MyBookie, because MyBookie.ag is a place to bet every sport. They have the NBA playoffs. They also have the Kentucky Derby if you want to bet on that. They have the NHL playoffs. Sorry about your Devils, by the way. Separate note. You had no chance without Hughes. It is what it is. Point is, though, the props in every game as well. They also have a ton of customer tunnel locations. You can also use crypto for your interest passing these deposits. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for $100 match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. Once again, MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for $100 match up to $1,000. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the first couple games on the card. Time to move on into the next game. Just finished talking about the Royals-Rays. Time to move on into the Twins and Guardians game. For this one, you have Woods Richardson against Lively. The Guardians are minus 115. The Twins are about even money, around minus 105. For the over-under, I see the line being set at around 8.5. Juice to the over, though, in this game pretty heavily. But I do see some minus 102, give or take, on Minnesota. Lively was not very good last time out. Richardson's not great either. Both pitchers kind of the same. Minnesota, though, you're looking at the recent performances, and they have been actually doing okay. They're 4-1 in their last 5. We'll see how they do in the game today. But either way, a point is they're currently tied 0-0 in the 4th. But I'll go with the Twins here. Might just be a coin flip game where I'll take the team that's closer to even money. I don't see much separating them. You could argue Cleveland is the better team at home, and I understand that they might be the better team in theory on paper. Both teams, though, really not doing it for me, at least based offensively. Cleveland is over 500, though. Minnesota is under, and they're also bad on the road. But I think that Cleveland being a minus 115, minus 120 favorite, not really interested. I'm not going to bet this game. No chance. But I'll take Minnesota at around minus 102.
You mentioned the other game. It was an ugly game. This one is an ugly game as well.
This one might have runs, though. The Royals and Rays game might just be ugly for a bunch of zeros. They might have runs in this game. I just can't tell which team's going to score more.
This game is just not the best pitching matchup at all. I guess I would take the other side, the Guardians, minus 116. My numbers did make them a minus 130 favorite, but it's kind of been an up and down year for Ben Lively. He's due for a good game. If you look at him, 4 runs given up 0, 4 runs given up 4. His last start, he did give up 4, so hopefully he gives up 0 here. So not really much I like here with Ben Lively. I do think he's been a little better than Woods Richardson, who he's just a completely different pitcher on the road than he is at home. On the road, 5.79 ERA, batters hitting 345 off of him, almost 400. That's crazy. So Twins, they're kind of a fade for me on the road, 4-11 straight up. They're averaging 3.3 runs per game on the road as well. So I can't back them here. I do think the Guardians bounce back. Minus 116, I think, is a fair price here at home.
Yeah. Once again, not interested in betting the game.
No.
But either way. Moving on to the next game, you have the Brewers taking on the White Sox. Now, for this game, you have Patrick against Burke. You have the Brewers at minus 180, the White Sox at plus 150. And for the over-under here, I see the line being set at around 8.5. If you want the run line, by the way, on Milwaukee, you can find that available at minus 110. Yeah, I feel like with the White Sox being bad, I'm not a fan of Burke at all. 1.46 ERA. Patrick doesn't go any distance, but he's been okay. A 2.45 ERA. Is this a Pizza Castle? No, this is Patrick. Give me the Brewers minus 1.5. I don't know if you got that line or not. Do you get that line?
No, I didn't. It went,
That's
went way over my
It's fine.
head.
That's from SpongeBob. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Honestly, I never watched. I was not a big SpongeBob.
Really?
Is that bad?
Really?
Is that bad to say?
No, I just feel like that's a massive hot take. I feel like most people, like, that's part of the growing up for at least people our age.
Honestly, you remember Cat Dog?
Yeah, of course.
That was my
Of course.
It was
Yeah, of
so
course.
fucking stupid, but I loved it.
100%. But I feel like once again that kind of transitions Nickelodeon generations.
Yeah.
That was like the main show of Nickelodeon. I'd say throughout the entire 2000s, basically.
What was, because I see the memes sometimes. We're getting off topic, but
Patrick is. We'll start there.
He's a star, right?
That is correct. He's a starfish. Well done. Okay.
Now, explain to me where they're walking with a pizza and
Yes.
what? Explain that to me. I don't get that. They're underwater.
That's the point. Yeah. They also light fires underwater. Like this, you're thinking way too deep into this.
Yeah.
It's a talking sponge, and you're getting caught up on the pizza underwater. That's the wrong details you should be focusing on right now. It's like a classic episode. Yeah, of course.
I gotta watch it.
I mean, once again, it's like it was a show growing up, but it
Yeah.
was viewed as being like a great show. I thought I had a good time watching it. But either way, point is one of the main characters is Patrick. So there you go. That's the connection.
At least I know that.
There we go. I'll go with Patrick in this one, minus 1.5.
I'm gonna go under 8.5 here, minus 110. Again, not the best game. Don't really want to back either side. If anything, maybe team total under for the White Sox. Chad Patrick, he's been okay on the road. No more than 2 runs given up in any of his starts. White Sox, they've just been their offense has been really non-existent. Outside of that one game, they did score 10 runs versus the A's, but they're only averaging 3.38 runs per game at home this season. And the only reason I like the White Sox team total under a little more, I think, is because the Brewers have been better on the road, hitting 255. They're scoring a full run more on the road than at home, and Sean Burke has not been good. He's just a complete fade. Fade the South Side here. Team total under. I like the minus 1.5. What was the price that you got for that?
It was minus 110.
Yeah, I love that. That's fine too.
Yeah. That was also what I thought. It's the White Sox. I don't really need an excuse to fade the White Sox, but there you go. Moving on to the next game, you have the A's taking on the Rangers. Now, the Rangers offense woke up for a game. We'll see if they can keep it rolling for the rest of the series. But the Rangers are minus 165. The A's are plus 140. You have Springs, who's been really bad so far this season, against Molly, who's been a Cy Young candidate, question mark? 3-0, 1.14 ERA. I got to at least throw that out there. For the over-under in this game, I see the line being set at about 8.5. Springs, though, damn, he's been bad. 6.04 ERA. He has allowed at least, it's not even like any good starts here. He's allowed at least 4 runs in 4 of the 5 starts he's made. He's allowed at least 3 runs in all 5. And he's allowed 9 runs in 8 1/3 in his last 2 outings. But the Rangers, for the most part, can't hit. So that's the problem you run into. I have to go Molly. That's a no-brainer. The question is what I want to take. I'll go Rangers first 5 minus half a run. I'll ignore the bullpens. Yeah. I think you're looking at Molly being obviously the better pitcher right now. And it's not like the A's are a good team in general. They're 15-15. The Rangers are 16-14, but they are 11-4 at home. Give me Molly first 5 minus half a run.
Yeah, that's exactly what I went. Rangers first 5 minus a half. My numbers only made him a minus 145 favorite, so I don't want to take him on the money line. But you mentioned Tyler Molly's not just been great at home for the Rangers. He's been great this whole season. Probably him, Nathan Eovaldi, kind of very surprising pitchers for the month of April. 0.46 ERA. He's 2-0. He's only given up 1 run in 19 innings, 21 strikeouts. Walks are a bit high, but I don't think that should be a problem here. A's, they're 19th in the league in drawing walks. And hopefully we started to see that Rangers offense open up. You mentioned it; they opened up a can of whoop ass. 15 runs on Tuesday night, and you mentioned I'm not a big Jeffrey Springs fan either. He hasn't been good on the road or in general for the A's. And Rangers actually hit lefties better this season, so I think this could be a really good spot for them to open up to a really sizable lead early on. So yeah, I would agree with you. Rangers home early here, first 5 -1/2.
Yeah, moving on to the next game. You have the Nationals against the Phillies. Phillies, I saw, were up 3-0. Schwarber hit a bomb in the first inning.
Wow.
It still feels weird not seeing him in the leadoff spot, which is kind of weird to say, but he's been in the leadoff spot for what feels like so long that seeing him hit a home run in the first inning with multiple guys on base is kind of, I'd say, rare to see. But either way, you have Lord pitching against Walker. Damn, what a bad pitching matchup. Phillies are -175. Nationals are +145. The over-under in this game is set at about 9.5. It's high for a reason. Now, Walker, overall, the season's been okay. 2.78 ERA. Last couple outings, he was bad against the Giants, and he was very good against the Marlins, despite only giving up. He only went 4 innings, but he gave up 1 hit. And then he ended up having a bad outing against the Cubs, 3 innings, 6 hits, and 2 earned runs. Seems like he's starting to fall back into his old self again, and Lord, I don't think is very good. Nationals offense, though, woke up against over the last few days. We'll see how they do today, but I think I actually like the over in this game. 9.5 with these pitchers, I think, is actually pretty reasonable. Give me the over.
Yeah, we're lockstep on, I think, a lot besides one game. I like the over here as well. I wanted to take the Nationals, but Brad Lord is just so bad. 9.5, I think, is the more reasonable play. My total came out to 9.8. Lord is listed as a relief pitcher, but the more you watch him, the more you look. He's gone 4+ innings in his last 3 starts. But in all 3 of those starts, he's given up 2+ runs in all those starts. And not to mention everything on top of what you said, we forgot to mention these are the 2 worst bullpens in the league with the Nationals and Phillies. Taijuan Walker, he's okay. He hasn't really looked that good, in my opinion, in his last 2 starts at home. And both of those games went over this number as well. So we're going to see a lot of high-scoring games at Citizen Bank Ballpark. Phillies, they do hit the ball really well at home. They're averaging 5.3 runs per game at home this year. That's top 5 in the league. And the over has been profitable at Citizen Bank Park. 9-5 towards the over. We're going to have wind blowing out. Should be a really nice night in Philly. So, yeah, I like the over here as well.
Yeah, moving on to the next game, though. You have the Red Sox against the Blue Jays. This is going to be the third to last game on the card. You have Houck, speaking of bad pitchers, against Berrios. Berrios is -110. Red Sox are -110 as well. For the over-under, I see 8.5. Houck, I remember when you were good. 0-2, 7.58 ERA. It has been getting worse and worse. Berrios has been meh. Not worth the contract, but he's been a lot better than Houck. Then again, the Blue Jays aren't very good either. I'll go with Toronto. I just feel like Houck is a guy that I don't trust at all. Berrios might struggle a bit, but honestly, 5 innings, 2 runs might be enough to get the job done here. I think it's a pretty realistic result for Berrios here. Houck could get shelled. I don't trust him at all. Give me the Blue Jays.
Yeah, this is another game where I really want no parts in it. This actually was a tough game to handicap because I think the total is spot on at 8.5. And to be honest, I really didn't want to back either side. Blue Jays, they're not really playing the best. They're 2-8 straight up in their last 10. And yeah, the Red Sox have won 3 in a row, but you mentioned it. Tanner Houck is a complete fade in general, just not on the road. Over an 11 ERA on the road for him. 22 runs given up in 17 innings, 8 walks, which is a huge problem. Batters are hitting 395 off of him. Almost 400 is crazy. And I know the offense for Toronto really hasn't been out there scoring a bunch of runs, but maybe this is a game where the bats kind of get going. It is against Tanner Houck, so if you can't get it, the bats going against him, then I really don't trust you moving forward. But if you had to bet this game, I would cautiously back the Blue Jays at home at -112. My numbers made him a -120 favorite.
Yeah, I can get behind that too. I think it's mostly just not trusting Houck.
Yeah.
Berrios, I know, can occasionally give you something decent. And when he's bad, there aren't as many blow-up starts as you think.
Yeah.
It's mostly just a bunch of mid.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine in this case. I'll
Yeah,
take mid
I
in this
agree.
matchup. So I'll go with the Blue Jays there. Moving on to the Tigers against the Angels. Now, the Angels we saw get buried by the Mariners today. You have Kikuchi pitching against Mize. Mize has been really good. A
Yeah.
4-1, 2.12 ERA. As for Kikuchi, not so much. Still looking for his first win of the season. Tigers, though I said before, short favorites -120. Angels even money. Over/under is at 8.5. Yeah, you have the better team with the better pitcher. So I'm not going to really overthink this. Give me the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, short, simple, -110 for the Tigers. I think the value is just there. I think we can't pass up the -110. I know it might be a travel day for them, but it really doesn't matter. I want no parts in the Angels right now. They just got blown off against a team that's really not hitting that well in the Mariners. And you say Kikuchi really hasn't been that good for them either. Kind of been up and down. Don't trust the offense for the Halos right now. They've lost 5 in a row. 2.4 runs there is what they're averaging in their last 5 games. So, and you mentioned it, Casey Mize has just really looked good. Tigers top 5 bullpen as well. So yeah, not going to overthink this one. Yeah, Tigers money line for us.
Yeah, moving on to the final game, you have saving the best for last. The Rockies against the Giants. For this game, you have Verlander against Freeland. Giants are -235. Rockies are +195. Freeland and Verlander have been bad. Verlander has been trying to piece it together somewhat lately, as he's 0-2, 4.99 ERA. But last 2 starts, 12 innings pitched, 3 runs. So he might have actually found something. As for a Freeland, I said before, 0-4, basically an ERA of 6. High whip 2, a 1.45. Last start, 4 1/3, 10 hits, 6 runs allowed. So not good. He has made 2 road outings as well, and those have not been good either. Total of 11 2/3 with 8 runs. So I do think that asking between the two of them, Verlander's better. The Rockies, do you want to guess the road record?
Can't be good. I don't know.
That is
Probably
correct.
like two wins.
How many losses?
14.
You're very close. They're 1-14.
Oh, wow.
Very close.
Fuck.
Point is, though, they are really, really bad. But either way, 1-14 on the road. Giants are 9-4 at home. They did lose to San Diego on the road today. But Verlander said before, has been pitching better. Freeland's bad. The Rockies are bad. This team sucks. Give me the Giants -1.5. Not going to really overthink this. Once again, the Rockies are a fake baseball team. And you're looking at the Rockies, once again, being just a laughing stock. The Giants on the run line is even money. Even money? Really? To fade this crappy team? Sure. Sounds good enough to me. Give me the Giants -1.5.
One aspect that's kind of been profitable here is kind of fading the Rockies and always taking their opponent's team total over. That's kind of been profitable for me lately. The last 5 games, the Rockies starters and bullpen 8, 6, 8, 6, and 8. You got to take the team
total. They
gave
up 2
over.
today, though. Or 1 today. They turned a corner.
They turned a corner, but I don't trust it to last. There's no way they don't score more than 5 runs here at home. Kyle Freeland has been awful in the month of April. He's given up 5+ runs in 3 of his 4 starts. Giants, they're all right at home, 250 on the year. But it's going to be a nice windy night in San Francisco. The ball travels at that ballpark. 11 miles an hour wind blowing into center field as well. So, yeah, you said even money on the run line is crazy. Yeah, so I like that as well. And Giants team total over for me.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. Before we get into the actual lock and dog plays for the show, Dylan, you also want to do a home run pick or don't even bother?
I'm god awful in those, please.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll only do lock and dog picks before we get into that. Though, reminder, they're brought to you by Bank Fantasy. You can play there and pick them. Chance 100 times your money. You can also do different sports. You can do the MLB. You can do the NHL playoffs, even if your team got eliminated. You could also do the NBA playoffs if your team can close out a games 5 at home. You still have a lot of options there for the underdog entry. And a reminder, you could also do UFC. You could do a bunch of other sports as well. Esports too. You an esports guy?
No, I tried to get into it during the pandemic, but yeah, no.
So when you say getting into it, you mean betting or you mean actually playing?
Both.
Okay. My friends some of them play Fortnite. They used to be into Counter-Strike. I was never involved in any of that. So my form of esports was occasionally chess. That's what I had. But that was not for gambling purposes. But either way, a point is, though, you can use all those for your entry if you want to, not the chess part. But you can sign up for the promo code MLB SGPN when you sign up for a new account to get a special pick the first time deposit offer up to 20K bonus cash. That's the promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. because they are the home of that picks and props, also available for the NBA playoffs and for the MLB prop market. You can also build your own models, very easy to do. They also allow you the ability to try it out for free for a week because they have a free 7-day trial. And a reminder, they have different discount codes, one for the monthly discount, one for the annual discount. Monthly discount, you could get the promo code SGPN25 for a 25% off per month. You could also get the 50% off the annual deal with promo code SGPN50. There's Rhythm, RATHMN, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get the 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RATHMN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through every game on the Thursday card. 11 games in the books, and now it's time for the lock and dog plays. Dylan, what are you going to go with for your lock and dog?
All right, so for my lock, there's a lot of games where I'm not really rushing to the window with, but I'm going to take the Rangers here as my lock in the first 5. Jeffrey Springs is just a fade here, and Tyler Mahle, like you mentioned, I think at this point, I mean, we've had enough sample size. He has to be in the Cy Young candidate right now. He's just been amazing at home. Only 1 run given up in 19 innings. So I think the Rangers offense, they got going last night. I think they continue it here. Rangers first 5 minus that half is going to be my lock. And as my dog, you mentioned Giants, even money. I can't take even money, though. That's too low. Let's take the Mets here, minus 1.5 with Kodai Senga going for the Mets at home. What else do we need to say? 13-1. They're just a total wagon right now. And Zach Allen has just not been good for the Snakes. So I think they keep it rolling here. Minus 1.5. Vibes are high in Queens.
Yeah, so for my lock, I think I am going to go with that Royals and Rays under. The 8.5 is just too high. I get it's minus 120, but I just think both offenses aren't very good. I think Lugo has been okay. He set the bar very high last year. He's been fine. Tampa's offense isn't that great, and Baz, besides one start against the Yankees, has been very good. So I see this total being a bit high. Give me the under at 8.5 as my lock. For my dog, can I do even money, or is that too cheap?
No, you could do it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'll take the Giants minus 1.5 there at even money. That was on FanDuel. I think it's a great price. The Rockies once again are 1-14 on the road. They were 1 game away from the worst start in about 120 years. This team stinks. Verlander's been very good lately, and Freeland is not. Plus, I forgot to mention their starter today, who actually pitched well, Dollinger, got injured. So they actually had to use a lot of the bullpen today, which is not exactly ideal for them going into this game. Give me the Giants minus 1.5 at even money as my dog. Anyway, that is going to wrap it up for the actual show. A reminder, you can find us on Twitter at Reichel Radio. It's right on the bottom there on the ticker. You can find him at Rock with 2Ks24. Dylan, anything else you want to add?
No, you just took a lot of shots at me with my Devils and my Knicks.
See, you can fight back as both my teams didn't even make it into the playoffs. So that's your easy jab back. But
I listened to you on the mothership with Ryan and Sean. I need to ask because I was on the same side with my pod, and me and my friend, we were both on the Lakers. I guess real quick, in 30 seconds, what the hell happened?
What happened was Minnesota was a lot better than I thought they were going to be. I was watching Minnesota the entire season, and they were kind of blowing a bunch of games late. I thought that Luka and LeBron in playoff atmosphere, a lot of half-court offense, I thought it would work out. And I didn't realize Ant would be the best player in the series.
Yeah.
That's really what happened. Randall's been good, which is kind of shocking to some. I mean, I knew that Minnesota was the deeper team. I just didn't think Ant would be the best player by a mile in the series, and he really has been. So props to Ant. He's been great.
He's fantastic. And last question, are you ever going to back the Clippers again in the series?
No. I talked about that on Twitter. Mentioned it again on the NBA pod this morning. I hate that damn team.
I know.
They're so much better on paper, but I don't know if it's being soft, if it's bad coaching, all the above. Harden did his disappearance act yesterday in Game 5. I gave that team a try. I can't. They're not
from everything that all the smart people have told me on Twitter and everything I've read, they said Ty Lue's a good coach.
It's a common opinion. I am not one of those people.
Okay.
I do not think he's very good.
Oh, hey, it shows.
He won a ring.
Yeah.
So did Doc Rivers. Throwing it out there. But, just saying, I'm not a Ty Lue guy. But if you want my thoughts on the Clippers in a bit more detail, check out the NBA show from this morning. Anyway.